Hello, you fabulous and wonderful people in this beautiful group. And thank you again for taking time and trusting me with your precious gifts. I've kind of been contemplating just recently on what we were discussing on Monday, where circles are concerned. And it made me go back into my development and how it was back then to what I wish for today. Many years ago, if we were together, as I hoped we were, that we would meet at the elected house where someone would have a room that was provided with love so that we can sit together in harmony as well as with the Great Spirit. My circle leader, John, always had a room dedicated to meet the Spirit. It had been used for many years. The windows were boarded up, but between the boards and the pane of glass, he would have net curtains. The board was painted white, so from the outside, it looked like every other house on that street. But on the inside, there was no light emitted whatsoever. When I talk about having the windows blacked out, it was to stop any natural light coming in. So if any light was being created, it was being created by the spirit people. But also it helped with the noise. So this was his house. You entered through one single door and you would find a sofa and some chairs, the seance cabinet, and inside the seance cabinet was a chair. This is where the medium would sit, and the circle members, feeling quite comfortable, would then project their power and their love towards the medium, but also being open to any kind of influence in the sense of knocks, taps, movement, but they weren't allowed to use their mediumistic powers. It solely had to do with giving. When we use our mediumistic powers in circle, we have to use the power that's being created, so we weren't providing for the elected medium. So the idea where physical mediumship is concerned with home circle is that you're there to provide the power. As you provide the power, the spirit world will work on you, making your auric field strong. You know how I said in our last class, having the white light, which is the light of the spirit, drawing close, which may make the colour pink. This is what I mean, that those who sit in circle, their energy will become strong. It's quite noticeable. When people walk past in class, you can feel that they have worked on themselves, but they're also open to give. Cheekily in the last class, I said the body snatchers, the people who just want to grab, take it for themselves. It's me, 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 instead of us, us, us. The circle will naturally develop because, yeah, you may start to develop your mediumistic powers, but remember, you can't hide from the spirit world. And the spirit world will say their job is done, now they must be removed. And it does happen. But let's go back to simple circle first of all. Let's pretend at this moment that you and I can meet. So I would have a room like this provided for you. I would ensure the room is clean, it will be tidy. It is full of memories. So for instance, I've got the picture of Madrado's painting, which was given to me in Holland when I worked there a couple of times. And then I've got Pickle, the big wooden dragon, next to me. I have a nice little rug. I have my trinkets over there. I have a bookcase with china that me and my father have collected. So there's stuff with good memories. It's happiness. You may want to have some photographs of people that you love. So it's known as a home circle, a home environment, so that we can welcome our friends. So I would expect us to turn up. If we were starting at 8 o'clock, we would expect every circle member to arrive half an hour before the circle begins. This half an hour allows you to relax. So if you had a chaotic journey or a very eventful day, it gives it time for you to rest, gives you time just to go. You could have a cup of tea if you wanted to. Medium would never normally drink because, again, as I said in our last class, you would go through micro P's. You're constantly wanting to go to the toilet. So medium would only be given little bits, little trinkets if they were, of treats if they needed it. Now, if we were having an open circle, so let's address that one first, we would meet half an hour before. We would never talk about politics. We would always keep the conversation happy and high. Anything heavy we would discuss after circle, not before circle. When we discuss something heavy, we may have a difference of opinion, which then causes disharmony within our auric field, but also in our mind, because we can sit and fester whilst circle is taking place. So when we are preparing, if we all wanted to do duties, each of us would have a role. One would then get the teas and coffees ready. Another one would make sure the room was clean and tidy. If we needed certain objects out in the room, another person would do that. So we all had points and strengths to bring into the circle. When it was time to meet our friends, we would enter the room about 5 to 10 minutes before circle begins. This gives opportunities for people who need toilet. You can go to the toilet. And then when everyone's in, we lock the door, leaving our troubles at the door. We would never bring into the development room anything that may be causing worry or distress. We would literally try and push it to one side. So we come in empty-handed. We would then take a seat and we will remain in that seat for the duration of the sit-in unless instructed by others, or if we needed to move the circle because we needed to change the dynamics of the power, then we would do so after we've had guidance. You would take your seat and hopefully it will be a comfortable seat, and then when we're ready we would say let's open in prayer. So we would settle for a moment, move into our power, and then circle leader would provide the prayer or instruct someone else to then open the circle. We should never ask, say, I want you to do this. You should always wrap within your prayer, especially when it's open circle, take from us what is needed. Allowing the spirit world to take from us our power, use our power, so that they can create a strength so that eventually, if they are able to talk to us, they will do so. You would open in prayer. Circle leader would then devise what should be done next. So if it was an open circle where we would practice, I would then invite all of us to move into our power. And so we would become spiritually strong and then bring you back after a period of time. And then I would say, what did you feel through that experience? If someone said, I got this, what would be your take on this? I would say, you're the medium, you tell me. Because it involves you to go back into that source of experience to then slowly find what it meant. Yes, circle leader may have linked with you mediumistically and known an answer, but instead of us spoon feeding your mediumship, is in ordering you to then go into it. We may then see there were similarities with the circle. Someone may have said, do you know, as I sat, I saw a brilliant light coming towards me, and someone may say, I saw that as well. And so that it showed that energetically you are linking together. After that, if we still have periods of time, we would then say, right, would we like to focus now on Jill? And all of us will then provide a power for Jill to move into the spirit world, to make a mediumistic contact. And then we would respond, yes, no, don't know. But the purpose of the circle wasn't to practice, it was to build the power. And then you can practice. If you went to the Arthur Findlay College back in the good old days, you would then sit and listen to lectures for the period of your class. So for instance, if between 11 to 1 o'clock, you would then listen to an experienced medium talk, and as the medium was being animated, their energy will be lent to you, and psychically the spirit world will start to change you. And then 5 minutes before class ended, they will say, now Scott, come up and can you demonstrate what I've just been saying? And you would then have to make a mediumistic contact, and then you would work, and then they would say, yes, you were with the power, no, you were with psychically, you weren't here or there, and then they would then tell you, and then next class they would then work, or you have time to then sit and contemplate what was given to you. So in home circle we would then create that power. Circle leader would sit, so for instance for myself, circle leader should be someone who is more mediumistic or has a deeper understanding of the power, so that we can then help people who are stepping into that stream for the first time. I would then listen to the spirit world and say to them, how would you like our circle to unfold? And then they may say, Jill this time needs to move over to this side and we need to focus on her, or we would like you to provide this thought for them to start to understand. Every so often we would then do exercises which were given to us in our own training, or by inspiration, by seeing colour, or looking at psychometry, table tilting, electronic voice phenomena, a Ouija board or spirit board. We would look at different ideas of trying to make it more interesting and experiment if the spirit world were able to work with us. Now that's an open circle. Now we come into a closed circle where we should be building structure. So if we were doing a trance circle, it will be a closed circle because the power has to mature. If you've got people jumping in and jumping out of circle, it's a mixture of power. It's like baking the cake. Each person is an ingredient, and each ingredient makes the cake whole. So if someone isn't attending as often, the power won't keep at its high or zenith, because it has to keep adapting to this new person, and it keeps jumping in and jumping out. So from the open circle, I would see if there was people with potential and then take them out of that circle and put them in the closed circle and say to them, right, same time, same place, same people and harmony. These are the disciplines that I ask you to commit as we go forward. So as we start to develop our closed circle, I would then make everyone sit. Again, same principles, you arrive half an hour beforehand, you leave your troubles at the door, you would then enter the room knowing that you're entering a sanctuary of peace. You would then sit and you would just be one, sitting in the presence and hoping that the person next to you gets something from it. So if everyone is thinking of the person on their left, then the power goes round in a harmony way, no one trying to be the medium. The circle leader will bless the circle and then will lead you into the power. This time should be sitting and developing you that awareness of self. And if someone started to make a mediumistic contact, circle leader like myself would then observe, have they intentionally gone to the spirit world and say, I want to be the star, I want this, or I want that, and the spirit world are responding, and then we can say, right, Joe, bring your mind back into the thought, and it will break the mediumistic contact so that they can continue to sit to develop that power. And then once the power has been developed, I would say, now softly come back into the awareness of the room, but bring that love with you. And then if we had to focus on one person, then we would then put that person in the chair and project our love and forget about them, so that they don't feel pressure, they don't feel the nerves taking over that they have to perform. They can just sit and experience. Circle leader will never say, welcome friend, out loud as the person is starting to blend with that power. How often have you started to sit and start to become aware of something, and then circle leader says, well done, Joe, I can see someone's there, carry on, because that brings you back into the experience of now. and we've got to lose you in that experience. So if the spirit world work on a mind-to-mind communication, I would then be sending thoughts to the spirit helper. I am aware of you, and you're doing incredibly well. Continue to take what is needed and allow the medium's mind to rest. If I'm making that link, it should bring the spirit person closer, because they're saying they are aware of me. But the medium is unaware that I'm actually doing this mind-to-mind communication, so they continue relaxing. If the voice starts to manifest, you will feel the change in atmosphere, you'll feel the excitement bubbling. You may actually feel the people who are providing the power will feel incredibly tired, and they may be being pulled into the power trance so that the medium can sustain that link. So when the voice does come, I say, welcome friend, and thank you friend. I don't ask for their name, I don't ask for details, because the hold is still so fragile, and any interference of questions will make the mind of the medium panic. This is why on the Friday nights when I demonstrate online, I spend a time blending with my power. This is why the free songs are there for me to blend as deep as I can. I could probably start to speak after the first song, but I want to make sure I'm well away. I don't want to rush. I want to make sure I'm very deep so that the spirit world are able to then use me. That's why they always start with the philosophy that shows how deep I am going. And if there's still aspects of me still here, they're able to deal with that with the speech. So I'm like going, oh, they're just talking. And I'm going away. And that's when they have the hold on me. When the hold is at its most, then say, now we open to questions. Because you know that the answer that will be coming should be more pure from the spirit world, not dusted with my own thoughts and opinions. So we will allow time for the communicator to build up in circle. And it's only when you start to realize, when you first start to speak, the spirit world will never say, and I mean this with respect, how powerful my medium is, how good they are doing. Because the window of the opportunity to speak is shrinking every moment, they would come through with something meaty, in the sense of, they may say, may your troubles melt like stars in the morning sun. It's something for everyone. It's not feeding the ego of medium. And that's how I know how deep someone is. If the spirit person starts talking about the medium more than addressing everyone else, then we know that the medium has still got a very large hold of the steering wheel when they need to give up control. So if you are sitting and you feel the pressure that you have to speak, this isn't the right circle. You shouldn't feel any pressure to speak whatsoever, and no circle leaders should be demanding results. We sit because we enjoy sitting. We love sitting. We love providing that fragrance and power for the spirit people to use. And that's important. Important for you and I to realize that it's about letting go of self. And that's why the spirit world say we must help you for your mind to become the pane of glass. So the pane of glass, if you watch it, it allows the warmth of the sun to come through without the cold interference of wind. It just allows that to shine through, and your mind cannot discriminate what it's letting in and letting go. It has to allow it to become fluidic, which I think is a word I made up. I love it, fluidic. So keep in your mind that there's no expiration date of when you should be speaking. It should be an ongoing progress. Now, the spirit world may not speak through you for many, many years, or if not at all, because they may need you to work in a different way. Where physical mediumship is concerned, and I don't want anyone getting the wrong idea straight away, saying, well, because I'm not speaking, I'm physical. But with physical mediumship is that they normally present some kind of phenomena first, even with the simple raps and taps. And then once it's reached a level of understanding, then the trance may take off. Or in the case of Alec Harris, the trance kind of admitted first when Alec turned around and said, "White wing here." And Louise said, "Oh, are you aware of White wing? You know, have you picked him up mediumistically?" And the voice returned and said, "No, I am White wing." And they had taken Alec into the trance states and said, "Now our work begins." So there is no rules in the sense of you've got to work. If it works like this for one medium, it shouldn't work the same with that one. This is why mediumship is unique to you. But if we lay the foundations correct, how it grows is then up to you. We follow a trend and the thought of this is how we prepare it. Once you've opened in prayer, you must also close in prayer. Now, throughout the whole of my class that I have shared through for many months, I've not once touched protection, because protection is down to the individual. If you feel you need to, then so be it. For me, my understanding is that I've never seen anyone hurt by the spirit people. It's the living people that hurt. So for me, when I pray, my intent is to be one with our friends. Our friends aren't going to hurt us. Our friends are far superior to understand that nothing is going to hurt you. It's only the mistakes of the living will give you harm. Many times I have been burnt in the demonstration, where I've had blisters appear of significant size on my solar plexus, where my power has been damaged when I've been sitting in physical mediumship. Whip marks around my neck, where the voice box has had to collapse really quickly because someone has acted inappropriately. So the harm is from the living who want it proved. Now, we shouldn't be proving it. We provide the condition for the spirit world to then use, if they want, to then prove it. So we are merely the speaker. The speaker doesn't prove that there's a voice. It carries the voice and allows the information to then prove without doubt the continuity of life. So as you continue to unfold whatever gifts are belonging to you, you've got to realize you don't rush. If you think after 4 weeks or after this pandemic that you will be a working, talking, extremely powerful instrument, you may be, but it's about progression. Your soul is here to progress. Your soul is here to experience the human emotion, but also to find a shadow. If there is constant light, there is no shadow. And I remember a lovely little voice of the spirit world said, "I have come to find my shadow." And I thought that was lovely, because I said, well, what is the purpose of life? And this little soul turned around and said, "To find my shadow." Like a shadow that I have here. We only lose our shadow when all lights go out. Isn't that interesting? And it doesn't matter how tall or small you are, even the smallest person can cast the biggest shadow. So when we are here, we're developing our sensitivity of being in touch and in tune with that being within us. And this is what we find, the reward, which shouldn't be a reward, but there is a reward, when the spirit world actually gets hold, and you know it's from the purest form, not tainted by the mind or the ego. It is absolutely amazing. There is no question that the spirit world would not answer with you. But then my friend will remind you, there are no answers, there are only questions that lead to a greater question. So what we know today can evolve tomorrow. And that's why we find a lot of times that the spirit world will contradict each other. But also we've got to take into consideration the hold of the medium's mind through this experience. Magnus did not agree with reincarnation, but William was more open to it. These are two very strong communicators from the spirit world. And so we never got the same answer. We always got different opinions. And if I was to hold this up to you now and say, what do you all see? You'll say, I see a controller with all different buttons that could change lights, turn on lights, turn off lights, etc. So if I said, this is the truth, what do you see? You explain it for me. And then if you said to me, what do I see? I don't see buttons. I just see writing. It's more plain. It's got a bit more texture to it. So we see the truth from different angles, you and I, and for others. So sometimes is it wiser not to expand the breath by saying you are wrong, or just saying, well, thank you for sharing your view on this? I know where circles are concerned, if you were being developed by me and we were able to meet, you and I, regularly, physically, you would come into this room and I would turn out all the lights so you weren't distracted by your earthly eyes. You would allow your sensitivity, your feeling to develop, your hearing to develop, but also your second sight to develop. I was sitting yesterday in this very room, and I'm going to sit really after when I finish speaking to you. And I was praying to the spirit world, moving into my awareness, using the music that we used on Monday, the dong, dong sound. And I was using that, even though it grates on me. I thought, no, I've told everyone that they should listen to it, so I'm going to do as I say and walk the walk. And as I was praying to the spirit world, losing self in the experience and becoming one with my power, there was something that brought my awareness back. And I sat here and I had my eyes open, even though it was completely dark. I saw light appearing. And this light started to grow from this side and that side. And I became very much aware that the room was very busy. Busy with people, busy with intelligence. And I was able to put my hand up and I was able to see the movement even in a pitch black room. And I said to our friends, isn't it lovely that you and I can meet? And I haven't asked anything from you which is going to exhaust you. And I hope that you've taken what I can offer back with you. And we just sat there and we didn't really talk, but it was a knowing that we are here where we're meant to be. Now, I have jumps, and I don't know why I've jumps, but I've just been reminded that I said about the protection of opening prayer, and then I must understand the blessings of the closing. Now, a lot of people do make mistakes, and they say, Scott, why is it taking so long? So I go through the simple bits first of all, and I say, well, tell me how your circle works. And we open in prayer, and I say, explain your prayer to me, tell me about it. Well, we say, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, if it hasn't come from self, then there's no power to it. If it's rehearsed, then you're diluting. And each time you rehearse it, you dilute it a bit more because you're not meaning what you're saying. Prayer should be spontaneous. It should come from self. Every word should be dipped in the power, and it should then set the scene. I can always tell how a demonstration is going to go by how quickly they do the prayer. If the prayer is rushed, you think, there's no oomph to it. Equally, when I said to them, tell me about your closing prayer. And so they give me an example and they say, this is a very crude example, Great Spirit, thank you for so much for what you've done. May the power that's built go out for healing to the world, and may we continue to meet in such a way. And I said, there's your problem. Even though what you have done is spiritual and it's helping your soul to find that spirituality, but the power you've just built over your hour, you have just given away in healing. May the power that is built go out for healing. So the power that you are building for your mediumistic circle, trying to get it strong, you've just kind of said, give it away. What I would suggest is, if you are sitting for building your power, building your gift, you should say, may the power that's built remain with the circle. so that we can become brighter together. Then the power then stays with circle, and then once the circle has closed down, you can then say, now we sit for healing. And you'll find there's two different energies. One energy you can feel is the excitement of the progress of the circle, and the other one is a very soft and gentle power. And you'll find as you bank your power, that's when the circle will start to have its acceleration. For me, before lockdown and we were able to meet, I would walk into my seance room, not necessarily this room because it was in the room next door, which was the smaller room. And I decided I wanted to be bigger. And I said, no, I'm going big. So I've used our spare bedroom now. But I would walk into it and I would feel the cold. Even though the heating may be on, I would feel this unnatural cold. I would feel a sense of buzzing energy in the room. And I would say, hello, friends, in my head, of course, because if I shout it out weird, Darren would go, what are you saying? And that would pull me out of it. I would then just kind of listen to the atmosphere, and I say, welcome. I am yours and you are mine. And then I would go and sit in my cabinet area, and I would draw the curtain round, and I would sit there for a few moments, building my power, building the love within the room. If people started to arrive in for my home circle, I would then go downstairs. I'd say hello. I wouldn't get too involved. I would always prepare myself with a bath beforehand, because I could always smell of something. Maybe if I was working in the cafe, I would smell of coffee or food. I would always kind of just wash myself down and just be one. And if we were really training mediums, if you were the medium of my circle, you were there to do nothing. So if you arrived at past, I wouldn't let you really interact with the circle. Yes, you say hello, but then I'll push you into another room so that you weren't listening. You would be preparing yourselves for your work. Your job is to get yourself out of the way. That's crucial. And so that we wouldn't talk to you, we wouldn't tell you secrets, because the spirit world may have an opinion on that secret. So that you would then relax. I remember turning up to circle, and John said, just go straight into the seance room. So I did. And I went into the room and I sat down. And in the early days, Morning Star was very much predominant. This is Morning Star. He was known as Dull Knife. But by his people, he was known as the Morning Star, the last star. And he came through, and he was very adamant to John. He said, I protect, I protect. I protect, I protect. And John said, what do you protect? He said, this place, this place, this place. He said, I protect, I protect. I ensured that the dark shadow did not reach. And everyone else would think, oh God, this is an evil spirit. It wasn't. But between the time that I last saw John and sat again, John was in bed and someone broke in, and he was dressed in black. And John is very bad at hearing. And he was just aware, and he called out and said, who is it? And this person was standing at the foot of his bed, saw that he had someone in there, and he literally ran out the building. Now, if they would have told me beforehand, we couldn't take the information to be genuine. It may have been recycled within my mind. But because no one had told me they had already fixed the window, I've gone in my own sweet way and made myself available, which then gave John the confidence that the spirit world were looking after him, but also showing that my mediumistic capability was now starting to develop. So tell the medium nothing. Let the medium work. Afterwards, after the circle, then you can tell them what they want. You know, oh, I've had a break-in. Oh, my mother had passed, or whatever. We had a wonderful communication through David Thompson many, many years ago when we were part of the Hamish Circle. There was a gentleman called Chris Hunt, and his mother had passed away in the morning. And We took David out of the situation. I didn't even know at all. And I was with David, making sure he was okay, making sure he wasn't going to do anything stupid, like conceal anything on his body. We always made sure he was searched. We led him into the seance room, tied him down, well, searched him in front of everyone, and then tie him down, and then begin. And halfway through the proceedings, William said, "I have someone." And then all of a sudden, the materialization of Chris's loved one, who died in the morning, is now walking fully in the seance room, more alive than you and I, which then helped Chris through the days ahead of grief. And I think he kind of danced out that room instead of going out going, "I've got to now clear my mum's stuff up." So tell the medium nothing, allow the medium to work for you, and hopefully things will unfold naturally. Now, I've spoken about circles as a group of people. Now we address people who are sitting by themselves, which is me at this moment. Darren should be sitting with me, but at this moment in time, I want to be with self. I want to get myself where I need to be. So as I'm talking to you, Darren's off, I think he's having a bath, because I said I'm going to sit afterwards. So he's looking after his physical body, I'm looking after my spiritual body. So if you are sitting by yourself, there's nothing wrong with you creating a room, blacking it out if you want to black it out, getting a cabinet if you want to get a cabinet, as long as it's going to encourage you to sit. You make an agreement that I use this room as often as I can. I have no telly in this room that's going to pollute the atmosphere with controversy. But if you are sitting in your front room, that's no difference, really. But I'm lucky that I'm able to have a bit of space. Yes, I've got this here, and I've got lights to try and make the camera a bit more clearer. But this is the only physical pollution that I'm bringing in. I've got my blanket because I get cold during my sitting, and I would normally wrap it round, and then I close my eyes, and I would just listen, first of all, like I've said, and say to the spirit world, "Here I am. What will be, will be. Take from me what is needed," and then move into my prayer of intent. And then just sit there. You can play a piece of music which is pleasing for you, or you can have it in silence, whatever you feel. And just hold yourself there. You may feel yourself coming backwards and forwards during the sit-in. If you feel yourself come back, you can always, and then just go back into it. Or if you feel that the job is done and the connection isn't there anymore, then again, close down your prayer. Now, I'd say close down. I think that's the wrong word, because I think that's giving you ideas that you have to switch it on, switch it off. But what you're doing is you're saying that this sitting now is done, and I am now ready to welcome anew. And so that I would then say to the spirit world, "Thank you, and may the power that has built stay with the circle, stay with me, so that we can become brighter. And if you want me to join a circle, take me to them, or guide them to me." Because a lot of people will run to this circle, that circle, this circle, because you're so keen to join a circle, but it's not right for you. And you'll find that you'll be there only a short period of time, and then you're going to leave. Now, there are circles, and I find this quite interesting. Have you ever been part of a circle that joins together? And it seems such good things, and then about 6 months later it just falls to pieces, and you're left on your Todd, left on your own. Now, I said to the spirit world, this is wasted opportunities. And the spirit world said, no, we needed like a battery circle, an intense of power, to then go to someone across the other side of the world to help them with their mediumistic capability. So some people may find this acceleration with their gift is because a circle on the other side of the world has sat to create a power, thinking it is for their development. But remember, you've said, take what is needed. And the need may be to have a medium switched on with their capability to give them that next step. So if you are part of this society where you are joining circles, the circle builds and then it just folds for whatever reason, don't be disheartened. Just think you've played a part in someone's unfoldment. It's a selfless act, remember. It's selfless. And that's the whole purpose of what we do. It should be selfless. When we sit for the power, we should be aware of self. But when we go to circle, we're selfless. We are providing, giving, whatever we can. So if you are part of circle or you're sitting by yourself, you can always say to the spirit world, on Wednesday nights, this is my time for me to practice. But between every Wednesday, so maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to sit to provide you power. I'm going to sit in the power, but come Wednesday, I'm going to use the power. Can you see the difference? So let's use the 6 days for you to get strong, and on the 7th, you can say to the spirit world, I am now open to suggestions. So that if you are going into a mediumistic contact, they can then use the power that they created over those 6 days to see if it's possible to bring you into the alignment. Interesting when we think about that. So if Mondays is our days where I'm helping you, maybe the Tuesdays to Sundays you sit in the power, and then on the Monday we get to then use the power. Should we do it like that? Or should we change it again? It's how you agree with your friends, and it's how you, as the individual, want to then move forward. So I am very blessed to have you as my friends, and I'm very blessed that you are trusting me with your experiences and with your unfoldments. Hello, sorry, I'm really dyslexic. I think that's Audrey. So I just want to say hi back to you. Thank you so much. Hello, I have made a small room. Hello, I've made a small room with a small chair and a blanket on top, fully blackout, and I wear a face mask. Face masks, I do find it interesting. Face masks are just solely there to black out your eyes. Now, if you are sitting for the power, and we were together, you and I, Donna, I would say to you, let's sit into complete darkness. Go back to where creation started, and you will feel that the energy itself around you will change. The face mask may help you to relax further. So we must address this. But I don't want to change too much, in the sense that if you or others, because it's not just you, I've seen it with so many people online, they put the face mask on to help them to relax. But turning out the whole of the lights of the room allows the body to then experience the whole lot. So it's, if you have sat with me before, and I know some of you have, you will know that when I sit you in darkness and I start calling out the pioneers, you'll notice it's like a white fog ascends into the darkness, and it's kind of like a yellowy blue, and this yellowy blue atmosphere starts to move and mold and twist, and then it starts to change colour. And this is the energy. It is also free floating ectoplasm. It's an energy that is being created, ready for our friends to work. And then all of a sudden you'll see it dissipate very, very quickly. And I'm very, very strict with the students, in the sense I say, tell me what is happening to the power. Because I need you to start reading it. I need you to start to become aware of how the circle is unfolding. Because if not, you may be sitting for physical mediumship, but they want healing instead. And then you get disappointed because you're not getting the knocks and taps. Or you may be sitting in a healing circle, but it's creating a physical power that is going to lead you to the phenomena. And you may start getting knocks, and then people of the circle say, friend, this is not what we're sitting for. Well, it's not what you're sitting for, it's what you are providing for our friends. I remember I used to get myself into a lot of trouble, because in development circles, when I went to the open circle, I would sit there and then all of a sudden I'll get jet lag. That's the only way I can describe it. And I think jet lag is a good way of expressing it to all of you. This over sense of tiredness. I was wide awake, and I close my eyes and I can feel myself just shifting. And what it was is I was moving into the presence of the spirit. And the circle leader said, "No, Scott, you're not going off. Don't go off. Don't go off. That's bad." And it would pull me out of it. And I wasn't going into what was naturally happening. And what made me laugh about this teacher, they had a power there, but they didn't know what to do with it. And so when she would lead us into meditation, and even though we were like, well, can we not sit the power? No, it's meditation. She would do it from a book. And one time it made me laugh because she said, "I want you to see the golden bridge." So you're like, okay, here we go. So we're creating a golden bridge. And then it went to something completely different. And you're like, what? Wait, hang on. When did we get there? And what happened, that 2 pages had stuck together. So as she went there, and she knew her mistake halfway through, and then you had, oh, hang on a minute, go back to the golden bridge, yeah, of the paper. And by that point, it had pulled you out of your experience. There was no way of rescuing it, because you'll notice when you are sitting, it has to flow. It has to flow. And if it doesn't flow, your mind will then question what's going on. And once this mind starts to lift, then it's hard to control it. I believe our friend said our mind is like holding a balloon underwater. When we're sitting, it wants to move up, and it wants to move here, there, and everywhere, and it's like trying to control it underwater. So we got to, instead of forcing it, it has to be slowly, so that the spirit world builds up the muscle, and you build up the trust. Have seen the fog in the seance room? Yes, it's tangible. It's a pulsing. It's like jellyfish. It's pulses, and you get this when you sit, and especially when you sit with the light off. Once you start to see those lights and they start to build up, your other sight is starting to build. Now, if no one else is seeing it, then you're seeing it clairvoyantly. But if the whole room is seeing it, then it's a form of a physical power. And you start to see this like kind of energy building. But the moment someone mentions something controversial, now I'm going to say this name, and we all have mixed opinions, Donald Trump. Once you say a word like that, or a name like that, or an identity like that, we all rise to a thought. He's a good man, or he's an idiot, or he's someone who's done this or that. It's created a human emotion, which then poisons the atmosphere, and you'll watch the fog will simply just blow away. It will melt away. The power has gone because we have allowed our minds to then interfere. So it's a fine line where we walk. So I hope you've enjoyed this short time. I don't know how long we've been going for. I have no idea. So let's continue to wind things down. So I hope this has given you some kind of thoughts to the circle. Those who are with me on Monday will know that we've spoken about the Phoenix Circle. So we are sitting to provide an energy to that idea, so that when we come together, it should develop and mature. Those who are not with me, I hope that mediumistically you are starting to unfold your gifts further, and you are finding that lovely peace to continue, and you're safe and well. We're in lockdown, yay! At this moment in time. We are looking to be in lockdown until March, they've whispered. So this is from January to March. So hopefully, without being distracted by earthly things, I can spend more time giving some thoughts to here and continue to develop the power for the Mondays. So thank you again. If you are joining me on Friday, please do. It's the trance demonstration. And I want you to start to track where my mind is going. Am I relaxing into the experience enough? How does it feel with the communicator coming close? Does the voice feel intelligent? I'm not saying sound, I'm saying feel. Is the words coming in a way that it gives me peace and love? So thank you again, stay safe, and look forward to serving you better in the days to come. Take care.